Hey there, film fans. I'm Jeff.
I'm Dave, and John's still unpacking boxes on the West Coast, so I will say welcome to the Love of Cinema, a pod where we challenge each other to be positive about a film, both new or old, and this one's a little old.
This one is a little old, although you're
Yeah.
making me feel old by saying it because I kind of remember the first time I
Wait,
saw it.
I'm making you feel old?
Okay, touche. Wait. So this is a podcast where we say anything positive about a film is our game. If we say anything negative about a film, you're going to hear this sound, which I'm going to do to Dave.
I did it too.
Every time you hear that sound, it means we said something negative, and therefore we have to drink because this is a drinking game, people, and that is going to keep us honest. Getting drunk, talking about movies, that's what we do. We try to keep it positive. We try to keep it fun. That does include movies like Space Jam: A New Legacy, which we did recently.
Oh, jeez.
I don't know why I thought about that, but we just talked about The Green Knight. So this is our second record of the evening here. But this film that we're doing today is Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon from the year 2000, directed by Ang Lee, two-time Oscar winner.
When Sydney had the Olympics, and everyone could come.
Wait, I thought 2000 was Athens because it was the 100th anniversary of the...
I don't know.
All right, I'm buzzing all of us for that. That's it. Really funny. Anyway, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. This is part of our Should Have Seen That By Now series, which I found out during our previous episode that Dave actually has never seen this movie.
I have not.
I saw it as a teenager, so I might as well forget that I hadn't seen it. I might as well forget that I had seen it. Although this was recommended to us because we have this series where it has become movies that we pretend to have seen because we would rather fake our way through a conversation about a movie than admit that we didn't see a movie. So our first
also
couple movies,
it was heavy on stunts. A lot of my friends are stunties, and I didn't want to admit I hadn't actually gone and seen this, so it was like kind of embarrassing. So I'm outing myself right now. I didn't see it. I'm sorry, everyone. Come to my house, kick my face. You're fine.
Our martial arts movies, whether it's samurai or otherwise, our martial arts. This is not a samurai film, obviously, but are martial arts movies popular in Australia as they are in American cinema?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, I figured I figured so.
I mean, I got taken to the drive-in when I was, I want to say 4 years old, and I saw a Bruce Lee film.
Oh, yeah. Shit.
So, yeah.
That's cool. Okay, cool.
We're talking 77 there. So
you don't have to age yourself on the pod. It's all good here.
No, everybody knows. It's fine.
Does everybody know? Okay, so where to begin with Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon? Why don't I just go ahead and do our shout outs to our people before we get into it too much. Carlos Barroso, our beer sponsor. You can find his handle in our episode notes because I didn't memorize them as John usually does.
If he ever gives you beer, ask for the black lids.
The black lids ones. We like the black lids ones. Yeah. So Carlos Barroso, find him on Instagram. Please follow. He is getting off and running as a beer som here in New York City. And the music that you hear is provided by the artist Dasein. That is Dasein. You can find him on SoundCloud. I can never say that part of the copy.
No, you said it right. You said it right.
Did I say it?
Yeah, you've learnt since the last episode.
www.soundcloud.com/Dasein, Dasein. I think that's right. Find us in the episode notes. And that's it. Let's get into Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. I'm really stoked for this. I watched this actually last night.
Me too.
Nice. And this is the first time you had seen it, the first time I had seen it in a very, very, very long time. So a little preface here. This is the year 2000.
Yes.
This movie made $213 million worldwide on a $17 million budget. So
Holy
pretty damn good.
Shit.
And 128.
So they earned about 18 times their marketing budget.
Right. Yeah.
Good luck, Snake Eyes.
Snake Eyes. You beat me to it. 128 million of that was actually in the U.S. So the U.S. made more than half of the money. This was at $128 million in the U.S. It was the highest grossing foreign language film in history. It was also the highest grossing film with non-American money. So while Sony Pictures Classics came in for distribution and they put some money into it, almost all of the money was raised abroad for this film. So this is Ang Lee, who went to NYU, by the way. Ang Lee went to NYU while Spike Lee was there. So we're talking about cinema history. I think this movie really
The
put
Lee twins.
Ang Lee and Spike Lee, yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently Ang Lee is in a 1991 Spike Lee movie, or I don't know. They had a relation. They worked on student films together. Like,
I'm gonna
even
look
though
for this now.
no, you should, yeah.
Yeah.
So let's see, what else am I gonna look up here? So Ang Lee did Sense and Sensibility, did the ice monster shit was Ice Dragon, the Ice Dragon, and the screenwriter for those films, if I remember correctly, is actually James Schumas, who did the screenplay for this, although because he is an American, he did have somebody who spoke Mandarin do the adaptation.
Yeah, there were three, I think, screenwriters.
There were three screenplay writers, yeah. And it is based on a book, which is sort of a romance novel, which we're going to get into as far as like genre of this film.
Ironically, it also used 3 film stocks.
No shit.
Yeah.
I'm dying to hear anything about how they made this film. If you have any information on that,
there's
I'm
a
very excited
lot
about
to
that.
unpack there.
That's your account here. So
yeah.
before we get into like a little plot reminder and a little plot breakdown, a couple things. So I think part of the reason this did, based on my research, part of the reason this did so well in America and not necessarily abroad is the film was in Mandarin, and they hired Chinese actors, but I think nowadays in 2020, 2021, we just assume Mandarin equals China. That wasn't the case back then. So for instance, Michelle Yeoh, who was actually Malaysian in birth and in nationality, she was Miss Malaysia in the 80s, and she became a huge action star. She was the first female and one of the first people that Jackie Chan allowed to do their own stunts as characters in one of his movies in the early 90s. You have Chow Yun-fat, of course, Chow Yun-fat. You have Shi Yi-shang, who would go on to be in Memoirs of a Geisha. Michelle Yeoh, I should say, is also in Crazy Rich Asians, or modern audiences might remember
also,
her as
Star Trek
matriarch.
Discovery.
Nice. Yeah, good. She's also in Rush Hour 2.
And there's a rumor she's getting her own Star Trek spin-off, but we're going to see if that happens. Because she was such a fucking popular character.
Yeah. She was in Tomorrow Never Dies, too, with Pierce Brosnan and Bond. And then Chen Chang, who played Lo. They're the top 4 bill. And then we should go ahead and shout out Jade Fox to Pai Pai Chang. So the 5 of them, I don't know if any of them actually spoke Mandarin as their primary language. So the accents were apparently all over the place. So anybody who, especially in the year 2000, if you're from China, if you're from parts of Asia that are kind of fluent in accents, they could actually hear it. And so a part of what I read, and I'm saying this as a preface not to diminish the film, but the Ang Lee actually co-wrote the English subtitles, and he, in a way, it's almost different for American audiences who don't speak Mandarin taking on this film than actual Mandarin.
The language structure is completely different.
Yeah, for sure. So not just the subtitle and the way that was presented, but also accents, the people delivering them and such. Apparently, Michelle Yeoh just memorized it phonetically.
Yeah, I've worked on a film that had to be translated with subtitles, and some of the stuff we got through, I was like, that is not what the line was, but I guess that's how it translates. The world's a big place. There's a lot of different stuff going on. A lot of different sentence structure.
Yeah. So anyway, preface over
because we should get Spanish.
I know. I tried to when I was younger. I'm gonna buzz for that. Okay, so let's get into the film here a little bit. So the IMDb plot synopsis of this is: a young Chinese warrior steals a sword from a famed swordsman and then escapes into a world of romantic adventure with a mysterious man in the frontier of the nation. I'm sitting here right now reading that, and I can already tell that's pretty vague, even for somebody who just read the film.
It's not, to be honest. This is a traditional style of film known as wuxia. And I'd like to be honest, I had to look up the pronunciation of that correctly.
Yeah, you got the pronunciation correct, because I've heard it pronounced incorrectly many times.
That is not how it's spelled. But it's a traditional storytelling medium, and the fact that they were able to, this is like probably one of the biggest budget films of the style that they'd seen in a long time.
At $17 million US.
Yeah. Normally they get much less budget, and it is something that, like, the style of it has bold heroes, strong swordswomen, and magic, basically. So
I'm glad you're taking this over for a second, because my question is, is that style more familiar to the the action, meaning the martial arts, or to the fact that this really is a romance drama?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure there. I mean,
I
I'm not sure where this came from. I'm glad it came from wherever it came from.
Yeah.
But like this was his interpretation of the genre
Yeah.
as such. Like because he's Taiwanese born.
Correct. Exactly. Yeah.
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 So
Yeah.
he always wanted to make a film in the style.
Yeah, and Chow Yun Fat was Hong Kong.
Yeah.
So you have Taiwan, you have Hong Kong, which, by the way, if anybody's familiar with 2021 geopolitics, Taiwan, Hong Kong, China, Malaysia, very different places right now, or
Yeah.
all fighting for different identities and such.
A lot of fucking visas needed. Yeah.
Yeah. So really interesting because yeah, this movie it's so romantic.
I mean, it is. It's beautiful. It's romantic. I mean, there were a couple of times with certain shots where I was like, in color wise, it kind of looked faded.
Yeah.
Okay. But if that is the biggest criticism I can come from for this film, like everything else in this was fucking beautiful. Like the fight choreography, oh my god, I've never seen anything like it.
It's still some of the most. It still holds up as some of the best that's ever been filmed.
Like this is the benchmark, obviously. Like the cinematographer obviously knew how to film this.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is just phenomenal. Like when we need to cut to, obviously, like I'm sure we're cutting to higher angles. Although I'm pretty sure a lot of them did a lot of their own fight work, but like there were stunt doubles thrown in. But like even like the difference between a shot when it's the actor and a shot when it's the stunt double is seamless.
Oh my god!
And
yeah.
They like there's only maybe one time I was like, okay, they might have sped this up. But I don't know for sure because everything else was just so fucking on point.
This is so it won the Oscar for best cinematography. Not that the Oscars mean everything, but just the fact that this movie was getting Oscar buzz means that the distributors had clout. But it also means that this really did cross over and in a big way because this is who Ang Lee was up against: Ridley Scott for Gladiator, Stephen Daldry for Billy Elliot, Steven Soderbergh for Aaron Brockovich, and Steven Soderbergh for Traffic. So just these like monolithic, like white male powerhouse directors directing like like even
that's
Aaron
who he's
Brockovich,
up against
like,
for cinematography.
For best director for Ang Lee.
Okay.
Sorry. But that's what's going on this year. Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? You got your Deacons. Deacons was nominated. That was
and
one of his
also,
non-wins.
Brother Where Art Thou was the first one to use digital color as well.
The Patriot. Anyway, so that's what's going on in the world when this movie comes out. Like it's just a fucking firestorm. And how shameless it was with I thought about the Rian Johnson Star Wars movie with this because ultimately they were like, oh, just being a Jedi means you understand meditation really well. Transcendental meditation is the Force. It's like, okay. But in this, it's so grounded. And the premise that a warrior can only become a master when they discovered not only chi, because I feel like Western society has just fucking like ruined that term.
They've co-opted that, yeah,
but weightlessness, like every
Western society,
yeah. Cheers to that. But the reason that only people who have studied this text, as we'll get into a little bit more with the plot in a second, the reason that they can kind of run on walls and they start getting onto trees, they start kind of having like a fight on the treetops and such, and even kind of go over water a little bit. It's not because they can fly, and it's not because they're religious figures of any kind. It's because they've mastered their environments and themselves in such a connected way that they've achieved weightlessness.
They've also achieved one with nature. Like this is like I will say, you know everything you need to know about the story in the first 5 minutes. The story, and I also love that Chow Yun Fat's a master. With, but we don't need his whole story. We get it. We don't need to go back in time with him. But it's like exposition, boom, flying ninjas. But there's again, it's the style of cinema.
Yeah.
And the style of the story is why they're skirting across rooftops and they can land on trees and stuff like
Yeah.
that. This is a style like
It's
that.
it's a meditation on meditation.
Yes.
I hate myself for saying that. Okay, so let's a little bit more of the plot. So Chow Yun-fat's character comes back and essentially decides he doesn't want to be a warrior anymore. He's a famous warrior who studied the I keep wanting to say the wrong word. I'm so sorry. The what's the name of the mountain? The Wahong Mountain, I think.
You need to look that up before we record this.
I did. I'm looking through my. I'm looking. Damn it! I'm looking through my notes and I can't find it.
I'm calling you out.
God damn it! I wrote this. They say it so many times in the movie.
Yeah, I did not write it down. Also, so yeah, I'll drink as well.
Essentially, the mountain where famed warriors would go and train, for forever. You know, for as long as it would take. They're out in the middle of the mountain. They're up there, and Chow Yun-fat's character essentially says he's done. He had been trying to avenge his master's death, and we don't really know who by, but we find out later that it's by the hand of a woman named Jade Fox.
That's all you need to know at that point. Like the first 5 minutes,
Yeah.
you're like, yeah, someone killed my master. It's like, oh, shit's
also,
going down.
Michelle Yeoh is so brilliant because Michelle Yeoh is also a master, but she's also an upstart business owner and entrepreneur in essence, and she has her own independent human
Security company, yeah.
She has a security company, and she hires trained soldiers to protect, but not just like the way that samurai did in Japan, but for the good, for peace, for keeping peace, not just for money or profit.
She's basically like FedEx if FedEx kicked the shit out of you if you tried to stop the mail.
Fine. Nice, Dave. Good. There you go. So, but back to the reason I brought Michelle Yeoh into this with Chow Yun-fat early on is that you can tell that Michelle Yeoh and Chow Yun-fat have love for each other, but because of their own independent lives.
God, that happens all the way through, yeah.
But from the very get-go, just from looks, it's not dictated to you.
No.
You can tell that it's like, you know what?
I got that in the first 5 minutes.
And it's like, if this
and
is
they
who
don't,
I am,
they
this
don't
is who I was,
resolve that, and it's really funny because like when they finally resolve it, his whole proposal basically like is I want to be with you and we'll roam around the world and forever go camping, and it's like that's the pickup line I should have used on my wife.
Dave. At least she is your wife, so there you go. The paperwork is signed. But the story, I can't understate the storytelling brilliance, which again, as I mentioned the thing at the beginning, not to diminish the film, but because our American subtitles, or I should say English subtitles of this, maybe is a different experience for other people that would consume the film. But Chow Yun-fat and Michelle Yeoh's characters they're not expressive in the same. I mean, they are expressive, but they don't verbalize all of this.
No.
So for instance, Michelle Yeoh essentially saying like, well, I've lived my life as a warrior, so now I want to know who I really am. You know, when I don't have a mission, when I don't have an obligation, like who would I be? But her character doesn't say that. Who says that? We find out to be the governor's daughter, who we call in this film Jen. That's the American name that has been assigned to this character, who's played by Shi Yi Zhang, which again is Memoirs of Geisha, just so you can see the face. And a lot of other films, you'd recognize her. She's House of Daggers.
Most importantly, this one.
Most importantly, this one for sure.
Yeah.
I forget if she might have been, if she wasn't nominated for an Oscar. I think they all got fucked over by the Oscars. They were all nominated for
I mean, she
BAFTAs
steals
and
this
stuff.
fucking movie.
Oh my God, it's brilliant. And she's so fucking good. But she's the one who says, when she first sees the sword, she's like, hi, I'm the governor's daughter. Michelle Yeoh's character is like, oh, hi. And she's like, oh, I've heard about you. You trained. You're a legend. It's like, I wish I could be like the characters in my stories. This is the governor's daughter, who we find out very early on is actually a warrior. She's actually like an actual trained expert warrior genius. But she's the one who ends up saying all of the subtext for Michelle Yeoh's character.
She was the apprentice, the Sith Lord.
It's so brilliant. So then anyway, the plot becomes that the sword gets stolen while it's in the protection of a wealthy friend of Chow Yun-fat and Michelle Yeoh's character. The sword is stolen, and the bandit we see as a young, vibrant, probably female person who's masked, but everybody thinks it's Jade Fox, this villainess, this
I
temptress.
never once thought it was that.
Well, because
I knew who Jade Fox was. Like,
this is the brilliance of this movie. You see the wanted posters and you see this like older lady's face, and we're like, wait a second, I just saw the face was wrinkled, like it was clearly a younger person.
She is like the Sith apprentice. Like,
I would say here's I'm gonna make a hot take. I'm gonna stop talking about the plot because the plot after this point, it's brilliant, but the story unravels. So rather than just be like, this is what the plot of the movie is, it's a heist movie, it's this movie, it's like the story really unfolds in a very 3, 4, 5 dimensional way that for a movie that is this stylized and this beautiful and this it makes you feel a lot of different things while watching it. The story itself is so complex and yet so accessible at the same time that it's like, I don't even necessarily want to get into it too much. But
that's why I like a lot of foreign film, though, because like they are really good at that.
But let's talk about Jade Fox, because she becomes this brilliant antagonist, brilliant for a million different ways. But just from like the script perspective here, we know pretty early on. I don't know if we can. If you're not listening to this podcast, I don't know if you could guess that Jen, again, Shi Zhang, the young governor's daughter, is the warrior that they're looking for. But you probably could guess it pretty early on. And then, of course, there's a very famous,
and
like,
if you don't, the fucking teacup scene is going to give it away.
Teacup scene, holy shit,
that's
man.
amazing. It is so subtle, but it's like it's like it's a plot advancement. It's like blink and you miss it, but it's a fucking major plot advancement. And they're like, he just threw it in there. It's like, if you miss this, it's on you.
And how badly Chow Yun-fat and Michelle Yeoh want to keep her secret because they want to work with her.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, she stole the sword. It's so funny. But this Jade Fox character killed Chow Yun-fat's character's master. And so he's trying to avenge her death. And so she's a villain. And you find out that the reason she's a villain, which, by the way, I'm just going to remind us now, we've mentioned 4 people in this film, and 3 of them are females, right? So 3 out of the 4 master martial artists are females. That's important because Jade Fox wanted to train with Chow Yun-fat's master, who started sleeping with her in a romantic relationship, but wouldn't train her because she's a woman. He wouldn't train her because she's a woman, but he would sleep with her. Yeah. And then finally kicked her to the curb.
Weinstein.
Her master. That's exactly right. And so you sit there, and because for so much of this movie, fucking Buzz Harvey. Because for so much of this movie, you're like, you're rooting for the governor's daughter, Jen, even though you know that she's behaving as kind of, she's a thief. She's a thief. But Jade, if you were Jade, you would do the same fucking thing. And the thing that Jade is the most angry about is that she could never be as great as she would have been. She just wanted the chance. She just wanted the opportunity to train.
No, actually,
anyway, I think
she just
brilliant.
really wanted the fucking comb back.
She wanted the Jade.
She wanted the fucking.
Anyway, again, there's more plot and more story in there. I've said my 2 cents. Where do you want to take it?
There's a whole sequence there where a comb gets stolen from Jen.
Yeah.
And look, I don't want to say they live fight sequences longer, but it is just like, it's like 15, 20 minutes of the movie where she's just trying to get this fucking comb back.
So before they do that, they're in Peking.
Yeah.
And so it's a beautiful city. It's amazing. And they have all of those martial arts aerials of the city and the fighting that goes in and out. And you have all these like little mini squares and alleys and pockets. So they have all these great chase sequences. And then, of course, when you have a true martial arts expert that can kind of jump on the walls and do some of like the roof dancing and such, it's beautiful. But the scene that you're about to get to with Lo, who's this kind of rogue bandit that Jen falls in love with, that's on horseback in a desert. That is a completely different environment.
Nothing will prepare you for the epic wides this film cuts to. And that brings me to my next point, because I watched this on Stars.
Yeah, me too.
This was originally shot in 2.39 aspect. Stars corrected it for 16.9. So we lost like at least 15%, like 30% of the film either side.
Stars
Yeah, it was full screen.
You're right. You're 100% right. It was 100%
So
on my
yeah,
screen.
I mean,
Yeah.
I was so pissed off. I've cancelled my stars.
This is why I got a big TV
I've
so that they can
cancelled
cut the top
stars.
off. It's totally
Fuck
fine.
you. No,
Well-
I'm done. I don't want to see your crappy fucking film transitions anymore. I'm done.
I'm actually going to buzz all of us because I'm definitely going to cancel my free trial.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of good movies on Stars right now.
Yeah, they do once a year. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
I just thought the story was so fast. So you're in. You're 100% in on this movie.
100% in. This is a fantastic film. Like the story is simple but
Right.
complex at the same time. Like
Yep.
if you really like, you will draw what you will from it. The fight choreography is second to none.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not kidding. I said earlier, it's the benchmark. This is the benchmark.
Do you have a favorite weapon that was used from all of those action sequences?
No.
Yeah, me neither. Although it was cool. It was cool when they did like the Matrix style. It's about the same time, right? They did the Matrix style where they have the sword. I mentioned this in the last episode. So the sword that got stolen is this famous centuries-old sword that was forged with old technology that doesn't exist anymore. That Chow Yun-Fat's character had, and it's called the Green Destiny, right? And for some reason, this character Jen, who's immature, like she needs guidance, and Chow Yun-Fat wants to be this mentor to her, and the sword is so great that it chops other swords. So if you have a sword and there's somebody that knows how to use Green Destiny, Green Destiny will chop your sword right in half. Yeah. You're so fucked. So Michelle Yeoh, who's also a master, by the way, she keeps grabbing these. They're like in a training hall.
She goes through like 8 different weapons.
She goes through, the best are those circular, like kind of those 2 like circular fucking things. But at one point she has like a long stick that has like a red tag at the end. It's like, what is this? It's like, is that a fishing vessel? Like they have all of these things that are like, it's really, really, really fun. I love it. My favorite line though, by the way, speaking of weapons, is Michelle Yeoh goes, "This sword is really nice. I prefer a machete."
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit.
Shit. She's hardcore. Yeah, no. My favorite part was when the police, the undercover police guy who was trailing the witch, and he cops a blade in the head, and the first thing my mind cut to was the Family Guy scene. Was like, do I leave it in or do I pull it out? Do I leave it in or pull it out?
When Stewie turns to the side and you realize, oh my god, it's so funny. You're right. It's so funny. Oh my god.
I really want to feel like that scene from this film inspired that joke. But
you know what? I'm sure Seth has seen this movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's so many great lines. One of my favorite line is, "A sword by itself rules nothing. It comes alive through skillful manipulation." There's one line, of course, that's early on, and I was kind of like, oh, cool. The guy that did Brokeback Mountain and Sense and Sensibility, it says, "When it comes to emotions, even the greatest warriors can be complete idiots." Yeah, that's coming up in this movie. The teacup scene. I just think the best part about the action sequences is, you mentioned how well choreographed they are. They are all motivated.
Yeah.
We even got in a debate over in Black Widow, and it was mostly me saying, I don't know if the sister fight at the beginning between Florence Pugh and Scarlett Johansson, I don't know if it was really motivated, because we had already seen what sides they were on. Okay, that's fine. That's just me. There was a lot of them where it's like, I don't know if it's motivated, but in this movie, even though some of them they're long sequences, but they really don't feel long because they're actually paced really well. These fighting sequences. And usually the fighting sequence is the peak, but like
shit, the choreography and the fight choreography.
And again, it's mostly the Michelle Yeoh and Zhang Ziyi. The two females fighting each other, like with similar styles.
Nothing comes close until you get to like the John Wick era.
That's it. You know what? I heard I sought that out somewhere, and somebody was like, they're the only people that put as much care into every single detail.
John Wick, part of our franchise face-off. Feel free to go back and look at it.
John Wick did very well in our franchise face-off, by the way. And I'm very excited for John Wick 5.
This would have also done well.
Fuck. Yeah. Wait, this is my favorite line. Do you know what poison is? It's an 8-year-old girl that is full of deceit.
Yes.
That was said by the antagonist
Mhm.
Jade Fox. It's like, wow, there's just like, oh my god, I just think
There's
so
so
much of it
much
aged
in
well.
here. Yeah.
Can we talk about so Dave, you're a cinematographer, colorist, director, writer, etc. Yeah, you've done a lot of
Mm.
work on films. Can we talk a little bit more about the filmmaking of this? Because what Aang did, how did he do this for $17 million? Even in 2000, like
Yeah.
how did he do this?
I I mean, I need to watch a lot more of the behind the scenes stuff, but
Right.
yeah, I have no idea. This
Did
was
they just
amazing.
did they not have craft services
Like
back then? Like,
yeah, nobody eats. Fuck you.
yeah, we need you to be skinny for our movie,
Yeah.
aka we don't want to feed you.
Everybody gets rice. Fuck it. And
Right.
yeah, no, I have no idea how he accomplished this for that budget. This is phenomenal.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
about the one thing that I did see is that they put in a painstaking amount of time in painting out the wires.
Yeah.
Because they do flow, but it's very, again, it's very motivated. It's not just a dance. It's not
No.
just like a beautiful like thing. They're doing it for all the right reasons.
Yeah, and I feel like that's why this was as successful as it was.
I think it has to be.
Because this was his take on a tradition, and he put all the love and budget into it he could.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I don't have any knocks on this movie.
No,
I really don't.
There's almost nothing you can knock for this movie. Just fucking watch this movie.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, it is.
That's the
stunning, it's
takeaway.
gorgeous.
Fucking watch this movie.
Yeah, there's more story, but like it's so
Yeah.
it's so great. And
There's
truly
more story. Go and experience it right now
and yeah.
before you start.
It's on Stars. Do the 1 week Stars trial.
No,
and then cancel
don't
it.
actually. Just find this movie somewhere else. Don't watch it on Stars.
Find it with the full aspect
Yeah,
ratio.
find it with the full aspect ratio that was originally intended to be seen in. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's
Fuck you
should do
guys.
it. You should do it. Yeah, fuck you guys. What are you talking about? Get Dave. I just hit buzz all. Anyway, go watch this movie. This movie's so good. I'm gushing both of us because it was just like this movie, 2000, Ang Lee.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, so fun watching this again. It's so
fun.
so good.
So, yeah.
Dave, why don't we wrap up with some what you've been watching and a few suggestions for the folks?
I have nothing but what I suggested last week, which was The Watch. I've kept going. I got a couple more episodes in. Keep going. It just gets better.
Yeah,
It's so much fun.
For the last episode you said The Watch, and I thought you meant the Jonah Hill, Vince Vaughn movie, and I was like, interesting time to go back to that.
No, I did not.
Yeah, no, I know.
I actually had the pleasure of hanging with one of the stars at the New York Indie Film Festival. She was in a short that I really loved, and I got the chance to like chat with one of the stars of the show.
Did you ask her questions about what's coming up?
No, this was before The Watch. This was like fucking 3 years ago, dude. It's like
that makes sense.
We're in a pandemic.
I didn't know the timeline.
I've been to one film festival since then, so yeah.
I watched Summer of Soul.
Ooh,
It's so great, everybody.
it's so great.
So great.
Yeah, I haven't even seen it yet, and I'm gonna shout. Like, I'll throw down for that.
It is. So this is 1969 Harlem Renaissance Festival, year 3. Amazing. James Brown's Stevie Wonder, Gladys Knight and the Pips, Nina Simone, Fifth Dimension, Sly and the Family Stone. It's ridiculous. It's 1969, so it's the year of Woodstock, and it's the year of the moon landing. And the moon landing actually happens during the festival, and they ask everybody at the festival, and there are people that were like, scientific achievement, man, it is beautiful. Like, we put a person on the moon. But can you imagine how many of these people in Harlem we could have fed with that money? Like, oh my gosh. So we don't give a shit about the moon landing. They literally were like, we're going to go see Sly and the Family Stone. We don't give a fuck about this moon landing. We look at that moon landing and we just see white people saying fuck you to us.
Yeah,
and we're gonna go watch Sly and the Family Stone.
You had 3 minutes of weightlessness in a dick-shaped rocket.
It is.
Oh wait, that's now.
Yeah,
that's now.
Oh my god, it was a gigantic cock. That
It was
fucking...
a gigantic cock. I'm sorry.
Oh my god, Jeff Bezos is like, I have money, not penis size. Yay. Okay, we gotta end this now.
Yeah, I flew to space on a gigantic cock, and my wife donated like $8 billion to like underprivileged kids. Like, yeah.
It is the Austin Powers sketch come to life. Listen to him laugh if you don't think so. Okay, people. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Next week, Dave, spoil what you're going to do next week.
We are doing the Suicide Squad. Come
my God.
high or hither, whatever. I don't care who survives. I don't know. I've kept away from everything. I have no idea
Doesn't matter.
what's going to happen.
Dave-
but yeah,
Dave refuses to look at anything about
Yeah,
it. Although
yeah.
I will say the reviews are very optimistic
They
so
are
far. People are very
optimistic.
supportive. Yeah, so here we go. Very excited for the Suicide Squad. Dave,
Me too.
Until next time.
Yes.
Thanks for tuning in, film fans.